It's 6 p.m. and I'm going to call this meeting of the Navasota Zoning Board of Adjustment to order. We're meeting at the Navasota City Hall and City Council Chambers at 200 East McAlpine, and we have a quorum. Do we have anybody out there who wants to address anything that's not on the agenda? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So I'll go to agenda item number 3, consideration and possible action of appointing a vice chair for the Zoning Board of Adjustments. Ricky, you want to explain what happened with that?
Yes, so the vice chair actually used to be held by a former member. That member resigned in the, I guess, early summer, and then council did, fill those vacant seats. But that seat that got filled, it wasn't formally voted on by the ZBOA, and so we just want to establish it with a vote now that seat is filled by someone else, and I believe that person is Mr. Alan Phillips. I did speak to him this week, and even though he couldn't be here tonight, he did say that he is more than willing to continue that role.
So we need to do another motion?
Yes, just a motion and a second and a vote to appoint Alan Phillips as vice chair.
Okay, have a motion?
Yeah. Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mac and Mr. Vaughn. Second by Ms. Banjer to appoint Alan Phillips as vice chair. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to 4. Conduct a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comment and testimony regarding a zoning variance application submitted by Anselmo Lopez. The variance application requests a 6-foot side building setback along the western property lines, varying from Article 9, R3, high-density multi-dwelling unit residential district 15-foot side setback requirements for the construction of a single dwelling. The property affected is located at the northwest corner of Levy and Foster Street in Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868, legally described as Camp Sub Block 46 Southeast Partial. And I'm going to call this public hearing to order at 6:03.
All right, Chair, ZBOA, just to summarize, as you read through that description of the item, the property is approximately 57.5 feet wide by a little over 100 deep. Once you apply the corner side setback along Levy, it reduces that 20-foot buildable area, and then since this is in the R3 zoning district, you're reduced by another 15 feet on the west side. And so once you add those two together, it really did leave a lot of room to fit the home that Mr. Lopez wants to build. Unfortunately, I don't see him here tonight. I did speak with him about 30 minutes prior. He said he was on the way, but maybe the train got in the way. But the result would allow for a 6-foot side setback along the west property line. It's a little bit bigger than what we're seeing in the new developments, like the Conways, Hidden Hills. A lot of those projects are now 5 foot. So he's requesting a 6-foot on that western side only, and they will meet the 20 along the corner. The one thing to note, the CAD lines on the GIS map and the appraisal district map are completely off. I know I got a call earlier this week from Connie about it. If you look on the GIS map, and even in the staff report, you notice that the lines are running east to west, but they finally got the property surveyed in preparation for this variance request. And if you can see on the screen and behind us and in your staff report, the lines actually run north to south. And so it makes sense with the legal description since it's saying it's the southeast part of Block 46, so that makes sense. And so I think with the surveyor, I think everyone got a little surprised that even the northern driveway and the part of the concrete patio I think they have there is encroaching. So they're going to work that out with the neighbor. that's a civil matter between them, and I think they're working that out on where the best place to put a fence. But regardless, that is the accurate property lines, and so the dashed line there is like an approximate location of where the new home will sit.
And the other thing that I noticed is the way it was on the CAD, it showed that that particular portion, that bottom portion right down here, there were over $5,000 in delinquent taxes going back to 2003. And Lupe has assured me that those taxes have been, there aren't any delinquent taxes on this.
Yes, no, I think there is an outstanding, a very, very minor, I think it's like $93 on this property that we're considering, but the $5,000 outstanding, that was on, it's what shows the corner on the CAD, but that's not accurate. So this is parcel ID 1041, and the one that has the outstanding taxes is 1043. And yeah, definitely, if that was a large amount like that, probably not best to consider a variance, but in this instance, I think the $93 that currently is owed for this property will likely be paid if someone's building a brand new home.
Do you know if he's planning on moving here, or is he an investor?
You know, I couldn't remember our initial conversation. I want to say that I think he did mention it would be a rental, but I have to confirm. I wish he was here to relay that to us.
Let me ask you something. When you say something that's going to be settled between the two parties, a neighbor, how is that recorded? Where there's legality to it, or where he has some legs to stand on?
Yeah, no, so normally when it comes to property line disputes, that really becomes a civil matter between two private parties. So the city, from our perspective, we really can't pick sides or decide who's right and who's wrong. Normally when this happens, when they have such a drastic difference in the survey, the person that's disagreeing also gets their own survey, and usually hopefully they'll line up when they overlap them, but sometimes you do have slight overlaps, but they're very minor. But yeah, that's done completely by those two property owners. The ideal would be that they both handle that, I guess in a respectful manner with each other. Sometimes it might end up in court, right? But that's all outside of the city.
Who would be the judge? The municipal judge?
I think it goes to the JP.
Does it?
Yep.
If it's district, it would be like Gary Cheney.
Maybe so. Yeah. One of the two. But that's completely outside of the scope of what we would do. Even tonight, you're voting on a variance for the western property line, and so let's say they get another survey and that line actually is more this way or to the east or to the west. That variance is going to move because it's based on the legal description. So that's to be settled. But I think that's a fairly accurate line based on the legal description. So
Is that Mr. Lopez that just came in?
no, that's not true.
That's quite.
Yep.
So out of the 60 notices that you sent out, did you get any calls or anything from anybody?
I got one call and it was just asking, hey, does this relate to my property? And nope. So that's all. That's where it ended.
Did that gentleman want to speak?
I'm not sure. Mr. Roberts?
Or either one of those?
No, I spoke with the one here on the front row before the meeting, and he was just here to listen.
He's one of the ones that received the letters?
Yes, yeah, I think he owns some property in the area and kind of wanted to see how tonight went because he may be coming back at some point and asking for his own to build something similar.
In relation to this?
I think he mentioned on the opposite corner. Let me pull it up here.
Caddy corner?
Yeah.
Because that was a vacant lot.
¿Su terreno está al lado sur de este o al oeste?
Está en la esquina con la Foster y la que está así para
La Levy.
la compañía de la luz.
Ajá.
No recuerdo, ¿es Levy esa?
Sí, es Levy.
Okay.
So, ¿está esquinado usted?
La mera esquina, sí, aquí en la esquina.
Oh, okay. So he's right on the corner.
Right across the street?
I think so. ¿Qué es su apellido?
Núñez,
Núñez. Okay. See if I can get my map to load.
For you who just came in, did y'all want to, we're taking public comments on this agenda item. Did you have any questions?
So that's Mr. Lopez.
Oh, Mr. Lopez, okay.
Yeah.
Can you come up to the So
Sure.
we can find out what his
Sí,
plan
López
is.
puede acercarse al micrófono y nada más diga su nombre y su dirección.
La donde vivo o la otra.
Sí, donde vive. Donde vive.
En español, ¿no?
Sí, está bien.
Anselmo López, no, pero la dirección no.
Sí, la dirección.
2016 Steven,
2016 Stephen Street.
Sí.
Bryan, Texas.
Oh, it's in Bryan. Okay,
Right.
Bryan, yeah.
Do you plan to move here or is it a rental property?
So, ¿piensa moverse a ese
No.
lugar o lo va a rentar?
A venderla.
Oh, to sell. Okay, so it's to sell. Yeah.
The house that's on there right now, is that his? There's a house there and there was a boat next to it.
Oh, no, so that is the neighbor. That is a neighboring property.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the
that's-
lines are kind of deceiving.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but no, it is a vacant property, minus a little bit of the neighbor's driveway.
Is he aware that he'll have to correct that with the neighbor?
Yes, yeah, we've had conversations. Ya está en comunicación con el vecino, ¿verdad? Sobre la esquina que encontraron que estaba en el driveway.
Se dijo que iba a mover las cosas.
You know what? Okay, so the neighbor agreed to move whatever is in his property out.
Okay.
So when he does come up with a design, that will have to go to planning and zoning to work out drainage and go through all of that, or?
No, so for single-family construction, that's exempt from planning and zoning process, so he'll go through our building official, through our permitting office, and get that reviewed. Matter of fact, we already have a roughly semi-complete drawings. They're not digital, I would have them here, but it'll fit within whatever boundaries are approved tonight.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? If not, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:12. Okay, consideration and possible action on order number 8, 2024, approving a variance application submitted by Anselmo Lopez. The variance application requests a 6-foot side building setback along the western property lines varying from Article 9, R3, high-density multi-dwelling unit residential district 15-foot side setback requirement for the construction of a single dwelling. The property affected is located at the northwest corner of Levy and Foster Street in Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868, legally described as Camp Sub Block 46, Southeast Park. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I would make a motion that we approve the application as submitted.
I'll second that. We have a motion by Ms. Bancher, seconded by the chair to accept the application as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, so motion carries. Moving on to item number 5, consideration and possible action on the meeting minutes for the October 9th, 2024 meeting as presented. And I wasn't here, so. So the two of y'all.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Vidotto, seconded by Ms. Bancher to approve the minutes for October 9th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the final item is to adjourn.
6:14.